The Show Must Go On is the name of a fantastic Queen song, but it can be a difficult motto for some acts to actually follow. Sometimes bands' concerts have technical difficulties, and other times performers have personal problems. Here are some musicians who stormed off stage during live shows. In 1992, flaming mayhem ensued in Montreal after a concert co-headlined by Metallica and Guns N' Roses, a band notorious for triggering riots. It all started when Metallica frontman James Hetfield was injured during a pyrotechnic mishap and had to go to the hospital. As a result, Metallica had to call it a night far earlier than planned, leaving their follow-up act with a choice to make. Guns N' Roses could either start their set early or make the already bummed-out crowd just wait. They chose the latter option, making the crowd wait for them for over 2 hours. For whatever reason, GNR's notoriously thorny vocalist Axl Rose just didn't want to be there. For one, he's rumored to have thought cities that started with the letter M brought bad juju, a fear probably reinforced by Hetfield being injured at a show in Montreal. He also reportedly had issues with the equipment, though he didn't ask for a roadie's help in solving his problems. Instead, after 9 songs, he abruptly exited the stage, no doubt wishing someone would get him out of Canada and take him directly down to Paradise City. His bandmates were bewildered, but rightly surmised that he wouldn't return to the stage, so they left too.
We had just stopped the tour because I had throat problems. Came back and I realized I'm gonna hurt myself. Right. I told Slash 2 more songs. If we can't get it fixed, I gotta go.
Outraged concertgoers then tried to take out their frustrations by bringing Montreal to its knees. An estimated 10,000 people rioted by looting stores, starting fires, and overturning police cars. Lil Wayne may not always make the best decisions, but he's a pretty smart dude all the same. As a child, he was a straight-A student, and he established himself as a grade-A rapper at age 12. He nearly threw it all away, though, when he accidentally shot himself in the chest. But instead of dying trying, he survived and thrived. Now, Lil Wayne is a hip-hop institution, but if he can't stand somebody, he might just go after them mid-concert. In 2015, Wayne took aim at his former record label Cash Money and its owner, Birdman, who discovered and mentored him. Wayne sued for $51 million because the company allegedly withheld money from him. He also roasted Birdman and Company in the song Coco Freestyle. He wanted to perform that track during a gig at Florida's Nova Southeastern University, but the DJ accidentally played the OT Genesis song Coco. So Wayne responded with great vengeance and furious anger, cursing at the DJ and chucking his microphone before running off stage. Marilyn Manson's gimmick has always seemed meticulously designed to antagonize. He needles mainstream society with album titles like Antichrist Superstar and album covers like the one for Mechanical Animals that features him as a naked androgynous alien. He mocked the image-driven fickleness of fame in songs like The Dope Show, while simultaneously gaining fame with his own carefully constructed image. But while his persona feeds off others' psychological discomfort, sometimes the more prickly person he really is underneath has peeked through. In 1999, Manson abandoned a show reportedly after discovering someone had placed a smiley face on a stage prop. After he angrily rushed off the stage, unruly concertgoers swarmed his tour bus, fought police officers, and committed trespassing, leading to 23 arrests. Fast forward to 2018. This time, Manson was on the mend after a different prop-related incident when a gun-shaped stage prop he was climbing on fell down on him, fracturing his leg in 2 places. He was still wearing a cast when he returned to the stage months later, but he unexpectedly left that stage after just a few songs, allegedly because he felt a lack of love from his fans. Witnesses say he kept demanding applause and seemed incoherent. Many in the crowd felt cheated, while others simply worried about his health. It takes a lot of confidence for a band to name an album Dookie, and in 1994, Green Day was full of it. Confidence, that is. Despite its name, Dookie doesn't stink. In fact, the album propelled the band to superstardom. Nearly 20 years later, the band was full of even more confidence. Too much, perhaps, with Armstrong leaving a festival audience wondering whether he was paranoid or just stoned. Armstrong's onstage eruption occurred at the 2012 iHeartRadio Festival in Las Vegas. Usher played a set right before Green Day, and the band reportedly had to wait longer than expected to go on stage after the R&B singer's performance ran long. Armstrong seemed to think Green Day's time was cut as a result of the delay because when a digital signal indicated that they only had a minute left to play, he flipped out. After basically calling the band's time allotment a load of dookie, He and his bandmates trashed their guitars and stormed off the stage. Later, the singer denied that the slot had been shortened and blamed his destructive outrage on drug and alcohol abuse. Mariah Carey has compared herself to the prim and proper Mary Poppins, and it's not hard to understand why. Though she doesn't travel via magical umbrella, her voice is like a spoonful of sugar, and that dynamic vocal range has made her a megastar among megastars. She has more hits to her name than some professional boxers. So when ABC wanted a musical heavy hitter for Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest on December 31, 2016, Carey seemed like a sure bet to knock the show out of the park. Unfortunately, technical difficulties rained on her parade. After a rendition of Auld Lang Syne, Carey tried to sing her Grammy Award-winning hit song Emotions, but she couldn't hit the right notes and she seemed to be at a loss for lyrics. The exasperated singer explained to the audience that a proper sound check hadn't been conducted. Equipment problems reduced her to dancing in small bursts and seemingly trying not to explode. A third song brought another malfunction, so Carey walked off, and ABC kicked off 2017 by dropping the ball twice. Oasis's hit song Wonderwall is, according to a quote from Noel Gallagher, about an imaginary friend who's going to come and save you from yourself. If that friend really existed, maybe they would have been the one to save Noel from his brother and bandmate Liam Gallagher, who infamously bashed Noel on the head with a tambourine mid-concert. And that's just the start of it. The brothers Gallagher often fought as bandmates, and Liam clashed with everyone, including, and perhaps especially, the fans at Oasis concerts. Liam has walked out on shows more times than we can count, with one instance in Glasgow in 1997 leading to a violent revolt. The band had just finished playing Wonderwall when someone lobbed a bottle, hitting bassist Paul Bonehead Arthurs and prompting the band to storm off. Enraged fans rushed onto the stage and broke windows. Then, in 2000, Liam angered a Swiss crowd at a festival. The singer hurled insults at the crowd, and the suddenly not-so-neutral Swiss started hurling bottles and cans their way. So, Oasis took a short break, only to return, then leave for good after 2 more songs. And in 2017, a post-Oasis Liam bailed on a concert again, blaming unspecified voice problems. However, many assumed he'd reacted to a pro-Noel Gallagher sign in the crowd. Hoping to save the performance, fans reportedly chanted, "Noel." Psychologists disagree on whether mental illness is a key ingredient of genius, but some studies and anecdotal evidence suggest a link. One person who certainly seems to believe in the connection is rapper and producer Kanye West, whose albums The Life of Pablo and Ye have been explicit about his own mental struggles and triumphs in recent years. A man of many extremes, West has reportedly been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which is somewhat fitting since he's a generally polarizing figure. His songs and artistic persona are full of bold claims and contradictions. He once accused President George W. Bush of not caring about black people on live television. Years later, under President Trump, he put on the red hat and started ranting that slavery, quote, sounds like a choice. And when it comes to performing, he takes plenty of time to go on off-the-wall tirades, sometimes working himself up to the point that he abruptly leaves the stage. In 2016, during the height of both a contentious presidential contest and a rollicking album rollout, Kanye went off during a concert in Sacramento. He had gotten through 2 songs before he began criticizing Hillary Clinton, and he also accused Beyoncé of pulling strings to win the 2016 MTV Award for Video of the Year, for which West was also nominated. And he implored her husband Jay-Z not to have him assassinated. Afterward, he stormed off stage. The concert ended after 30 minutes. The lyrics to Puddle of Mudd's 2001 single Control read like a rough draft of 50 Shades of Grey the musical. There's a bunch of butt-smacking, chains, and an unhealthy-sounding romantic dynamic premised on domination. So it's a tad ironic that vocalist Wes Scantlin, who co-wrote the song, has a love affair with handcuffs that seems to be built on a lack of self-control. Scantlin's been arrested for a variety of erratic shenanigans, including attacking a neighbor's patio with a buzzsaw, riding a luggage carousel at Denver International Airport, and vandalizing a home he previously owned. In 2016, he had a 2-hour standoff with more than 30 police officers during which he brandished a rifle. That same year, Scantlin also had a one-sided showdown at a concert in Ohio. Things were going surprisingly handcuff-free when he halted mid-gig to spew profanities at a random man in the crowd, whom he accused of the hard-to-commit crime of stealing Scantlin's house. Then the angry singer walked away. In 2017, He stormed off again while performing She Hates Me in Dallas, glaring at drummer Dave Moreno before leaving in a huff. English singer-songwriter Peter Frampton has delighted audiences over the years with romantic classics like Baby I Love Your Way and Show Me the Way. His much-beloved 1976 live album, Frampton Comes Alive, rocketed up the charts to become the best-selling album of all time before the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack surpassed it. People cherish Frampton Comes Alive so much that a copy of the album briefly upstaged the actual live Frampton, and he didn't take it very well. In 2017, Frampton was performing at Treasure Island Resort and Casino in Red Wing, Minnesota. Alas, a cameraman ruined his mood by filming a member of the crowd. A woman held up a copy of Frampton Comes Alive, which showed up on the video screens. The roughly 8,000-person crowd unleashed roars of approval, interrupting Frampton's guitar solo. Then the camera focused on the cover of the woman's copy of I'm in You. A visibly vexed Frampton leaned into the camera and let out an expletive. According to one eyewitness, the fuming musician got into a, quote, camera tug-of-war with the cameraman before leaving the stage. Then the video screens went black, but Frampton ultimately returned to the stage after he had the screens shut off completely, and he even threw in an encore song to boot. Indie pop rocker Rufus Wainwright wears his politics on his sleeve. He uses his music in fundraising efforts to oppose Republican politicians and makes politically charged songs like Going to a Town, which contains the line, I'm so tired of you, America. He later used the song as a critique of Donald Trump. So when he performed it with the Minnesota Orchestra in December 2017, the audience likely wasn't surprised that he slammed a GOP vote on tax legislation, remarking, "We have to fight for this country." However, this bit of political grandstanding was an unpleasant surprise to Manny Laureano, the orchestra's chief trumpeter, who later wrote in a blog post that he knew practically nothing about Wainwright before taking on the gig. The Star Tribune reported that Laureano stood up and, quote, swung his arm in an exasperated gesture, put his horn down, and walked off. Laureano called this characterization an exaggeration but acknowledged leaving in protest. He considered Wainwright to be, quote, angry and self-indulgent. He also said he deemed his comments unacceptable during a time meant for togetherness. Laureano also expressed his frustration during a radio appearance, saying, "This was not an inclusive moment." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite bands and musicians are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.